Hey guys, welcome back to Master B online tutorial video. And these days, lots of customers ask me that Master B, which printing head is the best for your DTG printing business. So these are good questions because right now lots of different printing head on the market for different kind of machine. Like Kornit, they use industrial Fujifilm glass print head, and Energy used industrial Ricoh print head. And also have lots of different other companies use the Epson print head. Today we talk about the Epson print head because the industrial print head like Kornit, like Galaxy, Fujifilm, Ricoh, it's really expensive, and it's almost for industrial mass production for in mass production printers. So now the market, lots of printers use Epson print head. But even Epson print head, there are lots of different models, like from the cheapest one, Epson L800, to Epson 1390 and Epson R2000, then go to Epson DS5, DS7 print head, and then Epson 513 TP print head, and Epson 4720. So today we talk about the top level of the Epson print head, like Epson 5113 and Epson 4720. Why these two print head is the most popular and the most suitable for your DTG print business? Because these two print head first have a mass production speed. They have a bigger file frequency, and then the any droplet size, the maximum droplet size can get 15 picoliter, and the minimal smallest droplet size can get 3.5 picoliter. So these two print head is the most suitable and compatible for your DTG printing business. But even two print head, they have some difference. So this video let me talk about what's the difference, what's the same thing between these two print head. So when we open the Epson 5113 print head, this Epson 5113 print head. Okay, when we open it, we will get the print head like this. And from the print head, we can see this totally have 8 channels, and each channel have 400 nozzles. So totally, the Epson 5113 print head have 3,200 nozzles. And from the top, we can see there's no ink damper port for installed dampers. You need to buy a separately the ink damper transit parts to install damper on the printer. Okay, now we open the Epson 4720 print head. When we open the print head, we can find out that the print head like this. So these two print heads, when we compare it, we can see the two print heads have 7 channels, 8 channel, and each channel have 400 nozzles. Totally have the same nozzle amount to 3,200 nozzles. So have same nozzle amount and the same ink droplet size. Some people also will call the Epson 4720 print head as Epson 513 Plus. But this also is a big difference between these two print heads. So first, when we see to the front, when we go to the front, we can see here the Epson 5113 print head. On the top, there's no position to connect the ink damper. And go to the Epson 4720, we can see they have a connection port to allow you to connect the dampers. So Epson 5113, no dampers, and Epson 4720 have dampers. So if you want to use the Epson 5113 for your DTG print business, you need to buy a separate transit board to install on your printer, on the print head, like this. And also we can see there's a rubber ring. There's a rubber ring for each channels to protect the ink not leaking inside the ink channels here. So, but it's physical connection. You need to use the you need to install here like this, and then use the screwdriver to fasten the screw. So it's difficult to install the transit board like this. Okay, so you install the transit ink transit board like this, but it's dangerous for install this. If you don't use this one, you cannot install damper. If you install this one, people always meet the problems because you cannot loosen, you cannot adjust because you loosen install the board by hand. So if this 1, 2, 3, 4 screw, the fastenings are not the same, not equal. Maybe you will get the problem for leaking ink inside of here. The ink will be leaking from here. If the printhead get ink leaking, it will be easy to fire the electricity system inside of the printhead. So because they need the transit board to install dampers. So this is a big risk to use for your DTG print business. So 89% customers, they get their printhead problems broken, not because the printhead got clogged or out of working time. Almost the problem become the ink leaking inside to cause the printhead problems. So this is a big risk and a bigger cost to take for DTG print business. If you cannot install well, if you are not professional technology, you cannot use well for the Epson 513 printhead. Okay, so this is the first difference between the two printheads. One, there cannot install the damper directly for Epson 513. For Epson 4720 printhead, you can install the dampers directly. And it's not never loosen. So by Epson 4720 printhead, you will never meet the problem leaking ink inside to cause the printhead problem to get short. So this is very important to save a big cost and less risk for using Epson 4720 printhead. Okay, so the first one is the difference for the ink damper design, ink damper connection design. And also when we go to the size of the printhead, the total printhead, we can see the Epson 4720 printhead is smaller than the Epson 513 printhead. So what's the use for if they make it smaller? Because if we take the Epson 4720 printhead, small printhead, so when we print it by one pass print like this, wet printhead at the front, and a color print on the back side, so we can get the enough distance between this printhead. Because it's small, we can close by edge. But if we take Epson 5113 printhead, two printhead will be length will be bigger to here. So the carriage for moving, the length of the carriage is bigger. So once the carriage gets bigger, the table must be bigger. So if make the same size of printer, the Epson 513 cannot get the same printing size of Epson 4720 printhead because the printhead too big. This position is too big distance, so cannot get a good enough printing size. You need to enlarge the machine to bigger bigger machine design. But if we take Epson 4720 printhead, we can make the DTG printer smaller the cartridge is smaller. So the printing size will be bigger enough. So that's the design of the top cover between the Epson 5113 and Epson 4720. The difference, Epson 4720 get small top cover design to get best one-pass printing result. So this is the thickness distance, the cover distance. Here bigger and here smaller. Okay, so the third difference is the ink flow design. It's very important. This is the ink damper, and connect to the print head like this. This 513 install like this. So we can use the injection connect with the short tube. We can do the test. Okay, so when we connect the ink hole and we push the injection, we can see that the injection pushback is cannot go through. So that means the ink cannot go through by positive. And also if we pour out the injection, also automatically back the pressure. So that means the ink from the top cannot go down and cannot go back. It's locked. It's locked like this. You can only pour the ink, clean the ink from the cap station. And when we go to the Epson 4720 print head, we can see it can be go through. They can go through and also can go back. And never back. Go through and go back. So this different design. Instead of the print head, the ink flow design is different between the Epson 513 and the Epson 4720. So what's the use for your DTG printing business? What's the matter for your DTG printing? Because if the ink from the top cannot go through and cannot go back, can only the ink go out from the bottom of the print head. That means if you use the print head for wet ink printing, you cannot do the good saturation, because the wet ink is easy to saturate and easy to dry, faster to dry. So we must make a good wet ink recirculation system for the wet ink. So if the wet ink cannot go through and not go up, so that means all the wet ink circulation system can only the wet ink go to the tuber and go back to the bottle, wet ink bottle. The ink inside of the damper and the ink inside of the print head cannot get recirculation. So the balanced ink on the ink damper and the balanced ink inside the printer will be easy to clog, easy to saturate, to dry, to cause the print head clog. But if we take Epson 4720 print head for using DTG printing, because the ink can be go up, go down, and it can go up. So we just need to require a value, a switch to protect the ink not go back, and then the ink we can make the wet ink recirculation system. The wet ink go to the inside of the ink damper, and the wet ink go inside of the print head, and then the balanced ink can go back to the general ink tank to get the wet ink recirculation to the inside the print head and dampers to protect the wet ink saturate and dry too fast to cause the print head clog. So this is the most useful, one of the most useful features technology to require a good wet ink density printing to protect wet ink clog. So this is very, very important too. That's why we must be strongly recommended you to take the Epson 4720 print head for DTG print business, because you can get a good design for wet ink recirculation system. Okay, then the speed of these two print head. The Epson 5113, the Epson 4720 print head can get mass production by 3-pass, 4-pass, and 8-pass printing. Even you want a mass production speed, it also can meet the requirement. and also you can get the higher resolution printing by 720 times 3600 dpi for high resolution printing. But Epson 513, the speed is 20% slowly than Epson 4720 print head. So this is the fourth difference between the two print head. And then also the fifth difference between two print head is the ink capability of the print head. The Epson 513 print head can only use with water-based ink, like the electric garment ink, pigment ink, and sublimation ink. Cannot use for oil-based inks like UV ink, eco-solvent ink. They cannot use it. But the Epson 4720 print head, the ink capability is bigger and stronger than Epson 513. It can allow you to put pigment ink, water-based ink, eco-solvent ink, or UV ink. All can be used in Epson 4720 print head. And also the working life. Inside design of the print head is stronger. The field, this film to filter the ink inside the print head is stronger and thicker than the Epson 513. So the working life for Epson 5720 is stronger and longer than Epson 5113 print head. So the working life difference. Okay, so these are the technical features that compare with Epson 513 and Epson 4720 print head. And another reason why we recommend you to take Epson 4720 print head for your DTG printer, because the Epson 513 print head is stopped production since the last year, 2018. The last year, 2018 years, the Epson 513 print head stopped production. So the print head you bought from the market is for stock. It's not for fresh, not new. And another reason, strongly recommend you to take Epson 4720 print head for your DTG printing business, because the Epson 5113 print head is stopped production since the last year, 2018 years. So the print head you bought for Epson 513 on the market is just a stock. It's not a new from Epson company. But the Epson 4720 print head is the most popular print head since this year, 2019. So it has enough stock from Epson company, and we will not meet any problem to that. You cannot even have money, but you cannot get a print head on the market. And also you can buy from the print head from anywhere, from the internet, from Amazon, from China, from local. It's easy to find out. But Epson 513 print head is a little bit difficult to searching and to buy for continuous DTG printer. And another reason that why we take Epson 4720 print head, because the Epson 513 print head get locked. And since now this print head get a 3 times lock. So even you buy a print head from the internet or from local, it's very hard for you to recognize it's locked or not locked. So if you get bad lucky, if you get the print head but cannot use it, because inside the firmware and the electronic design is totally different for every different version for Epson 513 print head. So even you ask somebody that do you have any Epson 513 print head for selling, they will tell you yes, I have. But when you get the print head and install on your printer, you cannot print because it gets locked. It's locked from Epson by Epson company. So it's a big risk to buy and to continue your DTG print business, because the print head is belong to consumable. If you not maintain wear, you not pay attention wear, you will get a clog, you will get the scratch on the surface. You need to change a new print head for using. So take Epson 513 print head for DTG is the big risk for using. But Epson, the newest 4720 print head, you will never meet this kind of problems, because the copyright is open and you can buy the print head from anywhere, and easier and convenience and safety and cheaper to get print head. So okay, so the last one we talk about the price. It's totally big difference. Right now, the Epson 513 print head in the market on internet, the price is around $650 to $700 right now. But for each print head, but the Epson newest 4720 print head, right now the price is around $350 to $400 for each print head. But the price is not stable. Maybe sometimes rising, sometimes reduce. So anyway, this print head is cheaper, half cheaper than Epson 513 print head. So this the totally 10 reasons that Master B to strongly recommend you if you buy a printer, if you buy a DTG printer to running a DTG print business. First of all, you must ask the supplier what kind of print head that you're using. And you must think about, pay more attention for the technical and the stock, the price, the stable and the ink capability. Lots of pictures you need to pay attention to. Otherwise, you will get a big risk to invest your DTG print business. Okay, so this all the difference and the suggestions from Master B for how to choose the suitable print head for DTG printing business. And also you can ask Master B or leave your message if you have any other questions for your DTG printers and the print head choosing. Okay, thank you. See you next time. Bye.